All right, hold on. All right. Hey, Shockwave Business Academy. This is an exclusive interview and really how to double your practice without even breaking a sweat. Today, my special co-host is Dr. Joe Doduro, my older brother, my mentor, the reason why I'm a chiropractor. And also, it was just his birthday. Happy 4th of July. A lot of you guys have never met my brother. He's the, let's see, you're the founder and really the start of the Neuropathy Treatment Centers of America. You started that in 2006. You helped train over 850 clinics in North America, over 1,000 in the world. You are I'd say the godfather of neuropathy. Anyone that actually is doing neuropathy either learned it from you or stole it from you. Is that correct?
Well, that's what the court says. Yeah, that's what the court says. So.
But I mean, I'll have a whole separate class on my brother Joe because he is a unique individual. He started the practice in 1986 in our hometown of Geneva, New York. He built a beautiful clinic. And then in 1995, I graduated from chiropractic college, came up, trained under him for 4 months, and then you moved to Italy for 11 years, right? Started 2 or 3 clinics over there and got his diplomat in neurology through the Carrick Institute, and then came back to the United States, went to
Palmer Center for Chiropractic Research.
Got a master's in clinical research.
For my 20th reunion of graduating from chiropractic college, I walked across the stage again and got my master's degree in clinical research. So it was like October, that October was pretty.
That was neat.
And actually, I never walked across the stage ever. That's just the thing.
Okay, yeah, it's
I was always busy doing something else. Good.
Well, you know, the thing I love about the amazing thing is, while my brother was in Italy, he was teaching me how to manage by statistics our clinic in Geneva. So we had, I don't know, 40 graphs that he would print off in Italy and I would print them off. This is before we had Zoom calls. We'd be on telephone calls and you'd have the same printers and you'd say, your retention's going down. And I'd say, yeah, I don't know what to do. And he goes, you need to increase your science and the way you're talking to these people. Remember this?
Yep.
And you'd say, go to a seminar, learn how to educate your patients and your community. And so this guy gave me so much of my background and how to look at numbers and how to reverse engineer it. I remember when you said, it's like, Joe, I want to make $170,000 a year. And that was for the whole clinic. And you said, okay, well, let's reverse engineer it. Let's figure out exactly how many patients you need. And if it cost us $10 to acquire a new patient, he'd say, look, if you want 40 new patients, you got to spend $400 per month in marketing. Yes or no?
Yep.
And that's what I did. And not only did I do exactly what he said, but I would get 40 new patients and 40 of his reactivates. So I get 80 new patients per month. And it was a beautiful thing, the way we had this thing rolling. But you gave me some of the core discipline that I needed to kind of create the practice of my dreams. And, you know, today is about having a plan. It's about, you know, first you start making money and then, you know, you're working your butt off. My wife and I work 60 hours a week in the clinic, and you know, you're wearing multiple hats. You're running around. You're the marketing director. You're the HR person. You're the doctor. You're also the compliance person, and you know, it really comes down to how much you're taking home. At first, I was paying everyone first, and you know, making sure my employees. I had to pay my brother. I bought the clinic. I bought the building. I had to buy the bank. At the end, my first year, I think I made $15,000. My wife, who was pregnant, Sherry, at the time, we were eligible for food stamps and free milk and cheese through the Wix, right? And I didn't realize that I needed to create a business that I was working on and not always working in. And fast forward 28, 29 years, now we have a wonderful clinic, has 3 chiropractors, nurse practitioner. We're a marketing machine. Some of the things we're going to do at the August 5th seminar is really kind of peel back the veil and really give you a behind the scene dashboard look at how we run a multi-million-dollar clinic. Joe, anything to add there?
Well, you had a lot of mentors, Matt, and you studied well and implemented what they said. I mean, the difference between, knowing the way and going the way. We talked about, the new Arnold special that's coming out, right? And, everybody could read that, Matt, you said, I should read all the books you could bring home. And, you were studying all this, bodybuilding and health. And the reality of it is reading a book on lifting weights and then actually lifting the weights is a big jump. Knowing the way is not going the way. You have to roll up your sleeves, do the work, get in there and get sweaty a little bit. Your idea is to do it without breaking a sweat. But, sometimes doing hard things gives you good experiences and the ability to say, I did it, right? When no one else can say, well, what did I show you? I'll show you what I did. There it is. There's the number.
And by the way, the Arnold Schwarzenegger 3-part series on Netflix, amazing. First part goes over his life as becoming the best bodybuilder ever walked the planet. Second, I want to be a movie star, and people laughed, and you have to change your name. They used a voiceover for his first movie, right? Was it Pumping Iron?
Hercules in the City, something like that.
And then again, you talked about mentors. Eric Breitenmoser was one of your best friends from chiropractic college. You guys went out to look into.
We took the Cadillac.
My dad's Cadillac, Fleetwood Brougham.
We got the Seville, and we drove nonstop all through California so that we could both, Eric Breitenmoser and myself, could figure out where we wanted to practice. We went to Northern California, down all the way down. We actually ended up, the only thing he wanted to do was meet Franco Colombo. Because Eric, he talked like this. And he thought, I wanted to meet him. So Franco Colombo, famous chiropractor. We go into his office. We're sitting there. He's got chrome, deadlifting weights, everything beautiful. There's Rambo, Stallone, everybody, all the people. His pictures when he was in Conan. He's in all of Arnold's movies.
He was
back
in
in the day.
Yeah, he was in a couple. He was always a character actor in a lot of Arnold's movies.
And so it was, as you say, mentors. It's things that make you. You made me want to come to America. You made me want to be a chiropractor. All this stuff about you need to have people. You need to bow down to someone who's done it before you and showed you the way, and then you just got to do the work.
The really cool thing about the Arnold 3-part series is that having a vision and then having discipline and follow through, right? And he said, don't call me a self-made man. It took lots of people along the way that got me to this point. And he goes, if you want to see me mad, call me a self-made man. And it's true. You have to give honor and respect to the people who got you to the point. So 29 years looking back, thank you. But today is really about how you build your practice too. And what do we need to do? I'll tell you what, you have to be careful, because as you start making money, the more money you make, you see it in your account and you start spending it, right? You buy that really cool red, sports car you wanted. Your wife wants to go on these vacations and she wants to sit in first class, whatever it is. You start living above your means. And it's one of the things that is, it's the blind spots that you don't see. And again, it's not a problem to have goals, because I remember wanting to buy this really nice lawnmower for one of my houses. And I was like, I got to up my new patients. And you'd say, how many new patients you need? I go, it's $10,000. He goes, okay, you to help me figure it out. And that was really reverse engineering it. As your business makes money, don't fall into these pitfalls. Don't fall into spending too much money. You always have to give back or reinvest into your practice. I call it the marshmallow test, right? You know it. They give these 5-year-olds a marshmallow and they say, hey, if you can wait 5 minutes, I'll give you a second marshmallow. And not many of the kids can younger kids cannot put off that self-gratification so quick. They eat the marshmallow and you come back and you're like, oh, what happened? You ate the marshmallow. And it's really about putting, building that dream and then really working with that plan a way to get there. This is from one of my, I'm blurred. But it's called The Blueprint to Making $500,000 per year. And this is from one of my consultants for over 13 years, Jay Geyer. And, I love what he talks about in here because it's understanding what to invest in your clinic and what part, right? And he says right in here, this is from, I wrote this from 2009 to 2019, this book. And it says, be grateful to your coaches, your consultants, and your business team. Gift them. Pay down your debts. As a doctor, we wear 2 hats, right? We have to be the doctor, and we also have to run the corporation. But it was in here that he really started to explain to me the 2 types of assets, right? You have, as you're building out your clinic, right, you have depreciating assets that you buy. You might buy furniture, equipment, you might put a new sign up in front, whatever it is. But there's also appreciating assets. And this is what I've taught my doctors for the last 5 years. That Softwave tissue regeneration technologies device that you bought, it's not a Lexus, like with the red bow. When they drive off the parking lot, it depreciates 15 to 20%. This thing is a capital investment. It's like owning a golden goose. And every day that you're open, it plops out this $1,200 golden egg. The numbers that our doctors are doing with marketing, and we have so many great marketing agencies out there, but they're making an extra $27,000 more per month. Times 12, it's $324,000 per year. Some of these doctors have been with 2 years, 3 years, and even 4 years. They've made over $1.2, $1.3 million just with Softwave at this point. So,
Matt, don't you think it's about, look at those people, look at the people that have been with you longest, how they know how to market it. The new guys are probably making that extra 25 a month, but the old guys have been there, they're probably making an extra 100 a month, 100,000 a month.
Yeah, with one device, it's hard, right? Because you're limited how many people you can see with that. But I talked to Louis Acone out in Salinas, California yesterday, and he's doing 30,000 a month with one device. And they're not doing marketing. They just have such a busy chiropractic clinic. And he wants to take it to the next level. I'm like, okay, so this is what you do. 30,000 a month. It's in a separate room right around his office. And he sees the new patients, but he has a technician that does 75-80% of all the treatments. So he's like, what do I do? How do I take it to the next level? I'm maxed out with this one device. Well, the OrthoGold 350, and he's going through a probe every 2 to 3 weeks. So the OrthoGold 350 will help you decrease how many probes you're going to go through, because it has 700 visits basically per probe, where the OrthoGold 100 only has 210. And the OrthoGold 100, it's been around for 14 years. When you went energy level above 10, like 11, 12, or 13, it wears down that little spark plug by 30%. So now you only had 140. So I said, Louis, what you do is you take that OrthoGold 100 and you make that your new patient machine, right? or your overflow. And then your treatment one is you're going to upgrade to the 350. And the beautiful thing is right now, if you buy the OrthoGold 350, I give you 4 probes for the OrthoGold 100. So you get, each one will make you 25 or 30 grand. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 120,000
in your pocket.
Extra. It's going to pay for the device. That's now, as of July 2nd, is now 84,500. Okay. So if it's your second device, we can give you a discount on that second device. But again, how do you reverse engineer it? Right? Understanding that it is this is a system, right? There's a timing. And again, relationships are the most important things in our lives, right? It's not about money. That's a byproduct. It's a nice thing, right? But our dad always said, the more you learn, the more you earn, the less you work physically. And he didn't get a chance to go to college, did he? He made sure that all 3 of his boys got to go to college and actually got postgraduate. Tell him about our dad, the cobbler.
Well, you know, that you think about people's legacy and, you know, what they were able to accomplish in their life. And this is the son of an immigrant, came to America. Our grandfather came to America on the boat. You know, he was working for $5 a week, I think, as a gardener, started his own business. But this is the grandpa. And then our father learned a trade. He was a cobbler's apprentice. He learned how to repair shoes and actually make shoes in his day. Him and his cousin decided this is what they wanted to do. And they both went to the war.
World War II.
And when they came out, they started their own business.
Our grandfather had bought a building for them to, you know.
It was the whole block. They actually, by the time they finished, they owned the whole block, and you know, multiple other things, but they were apartments and apartment blocks and things like that. So I mean, it was a great legacy. And what you learned is that you have the ability to work as hard as you want if you own your own business. And I think that the bottom line was when my father was like, people would ask him, come open a store in, you know, Seneca Falls, come open a store over here.
Victor,
and he was like, no, I don't think so. His idea was to, you know, like I say, the Big Brother School of Management was like, do it my way or I punch you in the shoulder. Didn't have a market. He didn't have a management. That's the next level. Being able to manage.
Yeah, he worked in it, but he was a great marketer. I mean, he also had an eye for things. When we saw Dunkin' Donuts, he had the first opportunity to put a Dunkin' Donuts in New York.
In New York. They were started in New Jersey, Saddlebrook, New Jersey. We were in Florida. We went on a trip down to Florida. And he said, "What? Look at this place."
He loved it.
Amazing. First drive through, you know, they had he's like, no, I don't want to get up at 4:30 and start making donuts. And I said, Dad, there's a lot of guys that'll go bake for you. No, I want to do it my way.
It was my mother too. Listen, the wild thing is Ray Kroc was 52 or 53 years old when he really started the franchise model of McDonald's. And I love that book, Grinding It Out. And you know, like I met the Warlick brothers. John Warlick is our founder, inventor, you know, of Softwave. And I always felt like Ray Kroc when I met the Warlick brothers, because they were sitting on this beautiful device that had an identity crisis. No one knew what the hell it was or what they did. They were just working, kind of keeping the parts together with it. And I felt like Ray Kroc. I was like, man, I can put this in every city. And you know, somebody says, did you invent this? And I go, no, I didn't invent it, but I developed the protocol that so many of our chiropractic clinics are using called less is more. So what do we do?
I just point out something about differentiating yourself, Matt, that really what we focused on back in the day was riches and niches. You have to differentiate yourself. So just because you have this new space-shade plasma gun in your office, you could have a magic wand in your office to touch somebody and they get better. But if you don't market to the specific niche, no one's going to know about it. No one's going to know that you're getting great results since you're sitting in your office, right?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
having differentiating yourself and being able to, get that out as a marketing component.
And I have to say, watching you grow Neuropathy Treatment Centers of America from one office in Casa Grande, Phoenix, to close to 1,000 worldwide, I got to learn what you did and how you did it, right? So I got to learn from the stuff you did, but it's really about, there's brilliance in simplicity. Didn't our buddy Brighton Moser always say that? Simplify your business, know what each new patient is worth. And then back into what exactly you want, right? I have in this book from like what I wanted to make, why I wanted to buy commercial property. I have this whole template here. You get what you deserve. Be fair to everyone. Get financial discipline. He teaches you the secret. This is my guy, Jay Geyer, but teaches you the secret of, getting rich. Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I keep it right next to when I do my calls every day. I'm looking at it, right? If someone pays you a monetary fee, you give them twice as much back. You over deliver. And that's really what it's all about. It's, the big five that you have to look at to grow is number one, human capital, right? Have the right people in place, then train them. He uses what's called the Colby method, which is, you don't need a lot of Joe and Matts that are like visionaries and like can't put a plan together. You need people that can implement and put together, right? Keep your finances under control, right? He's always working at financial freedom, and that's stuff I'm sharing with you. Space and equipment is another way to grow. Equipment, our device, it will help you. What I've seen is often duplicate these chiropractors' revenue. So a lot of these chiropractors I talk to, they're making 25 to 30,000 a month, and I can show them, if they're in a city of 50,000 or more, how we can do that. Clinical.
Double their practice income. Don't leave that part off. That's what you're going to show them.
Duplicate that. Clinical, get better at clinical duplication. Like, the thing I love is, like, when I took over your practice, you had 11 years on me. I was nothing. I was a kid out of chiropractic college that didn't know what the value in these hands were worth, right? So when he left, we went from seeing 180 people a week to 120. And because I just didn't have the technical skill, right? You laugh, but...
No, but the beauty of it is, I always remember, I'd come back and visit, and these people would start showing up in the office, and they'd say, "Hey, do you remember me?" And I say, and they'd walk over to the cardboard board that we had there, and they point to the picture of all the babies that we used to take care of in the office, and they go, that's me right there. Really? So I take care of them when they were 2. That we took care of, like, what?
We took care of 3 generations. And
400 babies a month. That was like under 11. We didn't count them as patient visits unless they were over 12, right? So we went people, pregnant ladies and everything. And so Matt had he had the people. By the time I came back, he had the families of the families that I was taking care of.
Yeah. So, I mean, this was my template. It was on the back of a, Johns Creek business renewal tax thing. And I basically, I wrote it out in 2009. And I stuck to this. So 3 ways, back then it was only, 3 ways to increase my business was increase new patients. So I had to become just a ground commando when it came to marketing, right? And increase frequency of purchase, how often they're going to come back, and increase the purchase size. I remember I wanted to have $1 million clinic when I was here in Atlanta. And you know, my brother Joe and Jay Geyer were like, that's 83,000 a month. And that number seems so huge back in the day. But he said that it really came down to 55 new patients every month that were paying me $1,500 a month, right? There you go. You got an $83,000, you got $1 million practice when you can do that. And to me, that was the golden number, 55 new patients a month. And I knew I could do that. So 13 new patients a week, right? There's a value to them. Now, our case average is around 1,500. So that wasn't hard. We're now at 110 new patients a month as of June of 2022. So you can realize that we've doubled, nearly doubled. So we're almost at that $2 million mark, and 64% of that is coming from Softwave. Now that's just in the clinic. What I did, I own 8 of these devices. So, you know, a couple of years ago when the Dallas Cowboys wanted one, Softwave didn't even have any extras. I did. So I flew out and I trained the training staff and I put one there. The same thing happened with the New Jersey Devils. They didn't have one. We went up there and we demoed and left one. Same thing happened with the Miami Dolphins. Mark Gronowski, he placed one in the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're buying the 3rd one now. The owner is 10% owners of the Mets. So it's being in the right place. You know, our cousin Joey, who's a chiropractor, Joe DeMacco, we used to work out in the basement, thanks to you and Johnny Fab and Don Scalise, all those guys. And we had this chalkboard and we wrote on it, luck happens.
Joey wrote that.
Luck happens when preparation meets opportunity. When opportunity meets preparation, whatever.
Preparation meets opportunity, when you're ready to go.
Yeah, when you're ready to go, you got to be ready. Like, luck just doesn't fall in your lap. You got to be prepared for what it is. So that's the way we train for our sporting events. That's the way we worked out. It was the same thing with this. You have to be ready to grow. And again, it's like, how many sources of income can you have? And the less work, I guess my biggest thing was I wanted to show how I could open up these pods in these busy chiro clinics, my friends around Atlanta who didn't want to spend $80,000 on a device. But what I did is I'd rent a room, I'd place it in there 2 half days a week. My daughter, Emma, right out of college, she would be the front desk or the technician. And I had a doc that I would put in there for 6 to 8 hours a week. And we would generate $8,000 to $12,000 a month. And it was costing us $4,000. You know what I mean? So I knew that the marketing worked, the digital advertising worked, and the predictable patient outcomes is what was the best.
That's important.
So, and again, we would get on average 23 new patients in that little cluster booking way, right? You taught me that early on. You don't want to have an empty practice being open 8 to 10 hours a day. People come in, where the hell all the patients, right? You made me cluster book and work in 3-hour shifts. And then people came and they felt a little better. Quick story about Larry David, and famous patient of ours we've taken care of. But the coolest thing is he did an episode, I think it was last season, 2 seasons ago, season 11, and he had a chiropractor. And the chiropractor, you know, Larry hurts his back playing golf and goes into the chiropractor, and there's nobody there. And he can't realize, the guy does some, you know, adjustments and he feels better. And he's at lunch with his buddy. He's like, I can't believe the guy's not busy. I don't understand. And he goes back in and the chiropractor bends over and he's got these old tighty whitey underwear with holes in them and stuff. And Larry David's like, oh, and he goes, hey, I think I know why you're not that busy anymore. And he goes, what is? And he goes, you got to upgrade your underwear. And he goes, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, those are from 1984. And he goes, I want you to write an email to your patients. And he's got the guy He's writing an email to his patients. But you never know, like, why if you follow the data, you understand the growth and the trends. And I think managing our clinics by those numbers gave me the foundation that so many of our doctors that don't utilize. And I want to create the beat the numbers. I want doctors to be able to send in their monthly numbers so we know where they're going. Because when I get on the phone with one of you guys and you're like, oh, I don't think it's working. I don't know. I got to switch marketing. I've been with them for 2 months. Well, show me the data. Like, let me see how many people are calling in. Oh, 100, 60 of them come through your doors, and only 12 start. That's a problem in your clinic, right? So we can diagnose along the flow and what's happening. But if you have 100 people and only 30 people are showing up, there's something wrong with that funnel, okay? Or how your call, or if you're getting 100 people and your call center is only scheduling 20 of them, then you got to get a new call center. You got to check your phones before you do marketing. Yeah. Joe, I know it's 4th of July. I know it was a good chat and a really nice opportunity to introduce you to a lot of my Shockwave Business Academy members. And I mean, I'm excited because you got some really good stuff that we're going to be bringing out. You've been focusing on really brain health. Give a little shout out to what you've got out there and some of your...
I think the one thing that they might be interested in, we talked a little bit about history, and my book is coming out next month. I've been working on it for about 5 years now. It's My Brain Matters, the neurometabolic solution, how to have more brain power for you and your loved ones. And sort of a review of, how do we say, family, life events, and then the science of how I kind of tie it all together. And it really touches on a lot of things that we talked about today, in our discussion. But it gives people an idea that there is something that you can do to have a better brain. And one of the things is we have a whole program that we describe, but it's the Pro Neural program, and the P is photobiomodulation. And you know, Matt, when you explain to your guys that light is the energy that goes in and changes the body, and what you guys use with the pulse, with the
Softwaves, yeah, supersonic sound
wave stuff is like, it's a next level type of...
Who knew light, vibration, sound, and energy would be the new drug in 2023?
So, I mean, it's just everything that we talk about, you've kind of taken it to a much higher level. And I think that you've done a great service to these doctors and the people that they can take care of with this.
Well, thank you. Stuff. Well, it starts with one, and like you've been such a great mentor to so many chiropractors. All right, well, thank you so much, Dr. Joe Doduro. He's based out of Costa Rica. Dr. Matt Doduro, based out of Atlanta. We've got some wonderful neuropathy stuff coming up that he's going to be sharing how he came up with that. That'll probably be in our next month's call. And don't forget, August 5th. We're going to be in Atlanta, and I'll be working on the super human protocols that my brother, Dr. Joe, helped me create. And we'll get into how to stimulate more stem cells and what areas of the body to do next. Thank you, Joe. Have a wonderful 4th, and happy birthday again.